Hello. Today I want to take the chance and talk to you about the problems in the supply chain in the fashion industry. Essentially, meaning talking about the workers' rights in the fashion industry. The problem is that we are still in an economy that's quite capitalistic, meaning that it's all about profit in the end. It's about generating the biggest profit for some kind of goods you want to sell. So that the difference between the production cost that you have to make a product and the price that you sell a product for, this difference is the mage. This difference is the profit that big businesses have, or generally businesses have. So the material always costs the same, but where you can really big in your mage. So when you make the cost for the production process smaller, this part becomes larger, obviously, right? So the problem is that here are the workers and the labor costs, and the problem is that the industry has found a way to mince that, meaning to outsource production, outsource in country where they have very low wages. And having low wages meaning having low production costs. But the problem is with low wages is that those countries don't have any kind of labor rights at all. They don't have no trade union rights. They don't have minimum wage. They don't have minimum wage that is basically enough to have like a decent kind of living and to have a good living standard. And the problem is that because those countries don't really have another chance but to work in this industry, they have to play the game. They have to shorten their production costs, and they have to disregard safety measures, and they have to also like shorten the wages of the workers, because they want to fulfill the demand of the big businesses of making the production costs very low and keeping everything very cheap. But because of that, trying to keep everything cheap, trying to make the profit as big as it possibly could be, a lot of things went south and a lot of problems are. And because workers and humans are all the same, we don't want to work under bad conditions. We don't want to work on unfair conditions. So the problem is that because they don't have any kind of rights in those countries, workers who stand up for their rights get physically abused or worse. And that kind of capitalism also leads to the uneducational use of pesticides, like for example in the cotton production, because if you don't take a little bit of money in your hand and teach people how to use something properly, because you actually care that those people are healthy and that they survive the production process, then they don't. And that's just something that is so incomprehensible to me. I can't understand the fact that the industry of fashion is an industry that generates over $3 trillion per year. So the money is there. And what I think is so sad that it seems to widen the gap so brutally between those few people who generate all those profits and all the people who actually work to make the profits happen for those, and that's just what I think is so completely unfair, where I just keep asking myself, like, where is the piece of the cake for them? Like, there are trillions of dollars in this industry. How is it possible that they care so less about the people who generate those profits for them, And what I think is so not understandable for me, we're all human. We all have the same value. We all feel the same. We all hurt the same. We all love the same, and we still pretend like people have a different kind of value based where they're born, and that's just incredibly unfair because they didn't decide that. So we're punishing people and taking advantage of their poorness and their lacking of alternatives to generate more profits, and in the end of the day to make us as an end consumer feel like we're richer because we can buy more. But at the end of the day, if you think about it, if you buy more, and especially if you buy more because you think you will actually add some kind of happiness to your life, the more you buy, the lesser you get. And in the end of the day, most people realize that the more you have, it doesn't really buy you happiness. So it doesn't really do anything for us in the end of the day, does it? Like, what does the fast fashion industry really does for us besides giving us cheap clothing? Because the problem is that I think we're led to believe, because we didn't know better, that it's actually possible, that it's generally actually possible to produce clothing in a very cheap way. But the problem is, if you do that, you are just disregarding a lot of costs that the product actually has. So the costs of work, of human work, the appreciation that it takes to monetary tell a person, I appreciate your work, I appreciate your art, that cost, the cost of environmental damage, but more about that later. What I'm trying to bring across is we're led to believe that it's possible, but it's not. It's not possible to produce clothing so cheaply under safe and fair conditions for the workers, under environmental care, and under a fair wage in the supply chain, And I think once people actually understand that it's just not possible, just a lot of people only cared about the profit, and we only cared about buying more and having more clothes and cheap clothes. Because of that, it was possible, but not because people are actually happy with working in that industry and actually safe and feeling good about their work. And I think that should kind of be essential for us, and that's what I think I keep repeating myself when I'm talking about this new luxury I would like to have, this new luxury of knowing that my product is made under sustainable ways, where people actually replace the resources they take, where they account the resources they take, and where people are treated as artists along the supply chain, along every step, because I see the value, and I see the sewers. I see the women who work for me, because I have been in their place for 3 years. I know how it is to sew, and I fucking hated it, And I am so thankful that they work for me, and I'm so thankful that they sew for me and help me making my dream come true, because without them, I would be nothing. Without them, I could work night and day and still not have the amount of clothing that they can do, collectively as a team. And I just think that's so beautiful, and it has such a value, and that's kind of like the things I want to bring back. I just feel like while focusing on only the profits, values like humanity and community totally got lost, and also the sense of working together. And because I feel like we outsource mainly because other countries do it better, or have like more innovative ideas, or because they do it more effectively. And I just think instead of exploiting that, we should appreciate that, because at the end of the day, we do realize that once we work together and once we form those collaborations, where everybody does the best they can, at the field what they're best at, that we can really do amazing things working together. But I just feel like it has not been any kind of working together with third world countries. It's just been exploiting them and making them feel like their lives has not been the same value as ours, and that's really what I would like to fight against. So yeah, I'm gonna upload some of the stories that I've seen now, and kind of let the people speak for themselves instead of only me talking to you guys. And yeah, please let me know what you think about it, and where you can find me on my socials. Let's have a conversation about it. Thank you.